What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to give you a quick overview of some of the data points, some of the latest updates that have been coming out, and where I see things going at least in the short term. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So based on my last couple of videos, I have been pointing out a lot of bullish activity, and those same bullish signals are still very much apparent. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of all that. Today it did close 1.18% in the green. It did touch $8. And of course, it pulled back a little bit to around the 770-ish range. And coincidentally, that is the R2. So once again, it closing above that is a pretty positive sign. So in general, if it can actually continue this momentum going into tomorrow and further from that, which I feel it can actually do, then most likely the 772 is going to be a very strong support, and vice versa. It could have a good opportunity to go to around $8.71. And a couple of things as well, because of the recent activity with SoFi, there was a good analyst rating today. Dominic Gabriel of Oppenheimer, only a 43% success rating, but still, it is good to see that a lot of these analysts are starting to look a little bit more favorably towards SoFi, because they did give a $8 target, with exception of Wedbush, but kind of even Wedbush was funny because they started with a $2.50 target and then they kind of got their ass handed to them a little bit. So then they kind of moved it up to $3. But still, I think a lot of analysts are starting to see that SoFi is a very undervalued stock. And just while I'm on here as well, the latest Morningstar report does put obviously SoFi at fair market value at $14. In my opinion, who isn't a financial advisor, so you guys always do your own due diligence, I personally feel that it should be around the $8.50 to $9 range. Given all the latest updates and where the economy is right now, I feel that is very sufficient. So between $8.50 and $9. But you know what? Definitely 14 could very much happen if there is a lot of good momentum. More specifically as well with Palantir. A lot of people did not anticipate Palantir to go nearly as high as obviously it did. And similar goes to SoFi. SoFi is a very undervalued stock. Even if you look at a lot of the multiples, it all goes to show that SoFi has been suppressed so much. But of course, you guys always do your own due diligence. When it comes down to it though, there was also them participating today at the Piper Sandler FinTech conference, and the fireside chat was clearly a good one. Enough so that it actually caused a little bit more of a intraday boom. So this is the intraday chart right here. And during the same fireside chat, it caused it to go up. So definitely that is a pretty good thing. As well, they did participate previously on May the 24th at the JP Morgan Technology, Media and Communications Conference, and upcoming next week on the 12th, they do have the Morgan Stanley US Financials Payments and CRE Conference. So all of this is going to be very much good for SoFi behind the scenes. But outside of the analyst rating and obviously the fireside chat with the Piper Sandler through the conference, there has been no SEC filings, no news, nothing along those lines. So it is just kind of following the technicals and broader market and just a lot of these side catalysts. So definitely I think a lot of good things are coming, but a lot of big money has been very much noticing SoFi. And that's one of the common things I've been bringing up over the last several videos, is that big money is very much getting in. So these are all the transactions on the dark pool. So a lot of big money has been very much kind of watching SoFi. And of course, dark pool is very much linked to shorting. So I'll give you guys a quick overview on that. But for instance, looking on the secondary markets. So secondary markets, what typical retail investors do trade on, these are all the transactions, majority of which are buys. You can tell that based on the bid, the ask, and then the selling price. So there was 1.27 million, 6.77, 3.05, even yesterday 4.45. So a lot of big money is continuously still getting in. And similar can be actually said, for instance, with the options. So today there was $13 million in call premiums that was being purchased. So definitely that is huge. A lot of anticipation of that to go up, and versus 2.93 million in puts. So of course, when it comes down to SoFi, the whole sentiment has really just done a 180 or 360, whatever you want to call it. It's done a flip basically over the last 2 weeks. So clearly the sentiment is anticipating things to go up very high. And of course, if you're kind of looking at this charting right here, so this is all the strike prices, all the expiry dates, it is projected to go similar to what I mentioned. So around the $8 to $8.50 in the next couple of weeks. So in reality, that's pretty good. A lot of options activity is just more for sentiment. So all of this does not technically move the stock price. So that's something just to keep in mind. But over and above that, like I mentioned previously, as far as the dark pool, I'll give you guys a good overview of shorts. So I'm on Ortex right now. I'll give you guys a good viewpoint on that. So short score is currently 72. Utilization is 93 for the most part. And today, short did, despite it kind of going green and still a little bit more volatility, but still green, they increased 244,000 shares. So once again, is what it is. It's good to analyze this information and use it as a benchmark. Right now, the short interest, which is a percentage of their free float, is 13.09%. So it has gone down a little bit. Initially at its peak was around 25%. Then it kind of dropped down to 12 and it's been fluctuating around there. But 104.41 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is currently 1.02, but still is very, very small. Not really much to talk on. But still, this 105 million shares overall being shorted, that does work out to be 796 or $797 million worth of shorts. So in reality, if SoFi does have a very good surprise, it could have a little bit more of a tentative squeeze, as what it recently did. And again, at its peak, it did have roughly around 15% and it pulled back to around 13. So some shorts did get out, clearly not a massive mother of all short squeezes. I don't think that's ever going to happen to SoFi, but it's good to use this, like I said, as a benchmark. But still, a lot of the same bullish signals I've been saying over the last several videos are still very much there. So given the momentum behind the scenes, I do feel that it can actually get to around the 871. I don't feel that it can actually get above that. So most likely it will touch that, bounce off of that and trend lower, because as well, if we pull this up, stochastic has been very much overbought for a while. So I do feel it's kind of overdue a little bit for a pullback. So it might touch that R3 potentially and trend back down, consolidate, get a nice strong support, and then trend up from there. But despite that though, looking at the momentum indicator, number of retail investors have absolutely been loving SoFi's price action. And it's good to see that as well, like I said, going back over here to the analyst ratings, a lot of the same analysts that have been having very low targets on SoFi are starting to realize that things are coming. And unfortunately, SoFi is at that stage right now. It's one of those growth stocks that have been going up too high, very fast in fact, that a lot of analysts can't really adjust. So right now, the consensus of all the analysts have a price target of $7.31, which surprisingly is almost a 6% downside. But still, I do feel that a lot of us investors do know the true value of SoFi. And a lot of these are direct competition to SoFi. So you have to take that with a grain of salt as well. So maybe times this by 2 in reality, and you kind of get what Morningstar is saying. So around the $14 mark. So let me know you guys' thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Definitely SoFi is one of those ones that you want to buy, forget, and hold long term, because they're going to do a lot of big things. As I've said in the past, SoFi is a huge disruptor, and they're trying to disrupt one of the oldest sectors that's been around forever. So again, that's not an easy task. So you're going to have a lot of volatility, you're going to have a lot of manipulation behind the scenes to try and suppress it, but so far they've been getting the massive results that they deserve. So eventually the stock price is going to adjust to that and accommodate and go up to maybe the $14 mark or maybe the $9. Who knows? Let me know you guys' thoughts on that, and as well your price target. Give yourself a shout out as well if you have been buying, selling, holding, where you see things going at least in the short term, or do you think it's going to pull one of these and just slowly trend back down? So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on all this in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.